Hi, Facebook. I'm sorry we had a little bit of a glitch. Hey, Brand, you could be a real saint. Go in the next room and see if the audio's working.
Sure.
Thank you. Thanks, sweetheart. I just want to make sure that we're coming there and that you can hear me. I'm hoping that you can hear me. And if you can, I just want to tell you that we went through this before. We did an hour broadcast, and for whatever reason, the Mevo software wasn't working. And because it wasn't working, it didn't tool up, and we didn't get to see it. So this will be the second time that I did this one today. But we're super cool and happy to do it. Sounds great. Okay, so today's talk, I want to tell you what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about making money. And this is something that I really want you to share. And it's about making money in the spiritual community. And it has a completely different meaning than people think. So like the title of this thing is How Not to Get Caught in Spiritual Financial Misconception. I'm sorry again that it's starting an hour late. We already did one for an hour and it didn't take because of the Mevo software update. So first thing I want to tell you about is that we're coming to you from Costa Rica, from Rythmia Life Advancement Center. What is Rythmia? Rythmia is a place that combines plant medicine with metaphysical teachings and a bunch of other stuff. And we actually have a super high self-reported miracle rate of about 93.75% of the people who come in have this miracle in their life, and it changes them forever. Who am I? My name is Gerry. I want to tell you the first thing is that I'm not special, picked, or chosen. As a matter of fact, I'm quite the opposite of that. I'm not a thought leader. As a business guy, I'm going to give you my story in a real short thing. In my 20s, I became a millionaire. A real millionaire, meaning I had a net worth of $1 million. In my 30s, I took a company public. I had $140 million net worth. I went broke in my late 30s in the dot-com crash because I had a public company. I started another company in my late 30s. I started it at 38, and I sold it at 41 or 42 for about $94 million, and I quit work. During that time, I became a world-class asshole. I became the most unhappy person that I know. I became a jerk, an alcoholic, a drug addict, a sex addict, just a guy who was pretty unhappy. So unhappy I tried to kill myself 2 times. Had a plant medicine experience in 2014, and that experience changed my life. And as a result of that experience, I became a guy who's on fire for the plants, on fire for these teachings. I went out and I bought a resort. This thing changed my life so much. I bought a resort and started doing these teachings at the resort. And it's just a wonderful place, and it's changing lives every day. But I don't want you to think I'm special, picked, or chosen. I was a real good money-making guy, and my life has started over, and I'm learning everything again. So that's the truth of the truth. Before I get into what I want to talk about today, which I do, my specific thing today is talking about making money in spiritual business and the misconceptions that are out there about it. But before I do that, I want to tell you some good things. And there's some good things, but there's some bad in it as well. The truth of it is that you're being brainwashed. And the media is not, people say that it's fake news and this and that, and that's all bullshit. What they do is they take one little piece of news out of context with the whole other bunch of news, and they hit you with it often, and you start to believe that it's true. So what ends up happening, our reptilian brain wants to survive, keep our body alive. And that's why bad news sells newspapers. So the more that the press can put out these bad news, that our mind tunes into it. And even if we don't do it actively, and a secondhand basis. We get about 3 hours worth of it a day. So this stuff is seeping in and brainwashing us. So if you just listen to what's in the commonplace, you think, well, gun control is terrible. More people are getting shot than ever. There's more wars than ever. There's more famine than ever. There's more of like death, poverty, illness. You'd have you thinking this, right? And nothing could be further from the truth. Because here's the facts. And you can fact check everything I'm saying. It's super easy to do. Here's the good news. Harvard study, I love Harvard studies, new Harvard study that says unequivocally, this is the safest time to be alive as a human ever. So listen, all of us love safety. Even the spiritual ones that say not to look for it, we crave safety. Well, we're living in the safest time ever. Wars. Your chance of being killed in a war is 1/12 of what it was in 1950. Pretty good news. Poverty. Cut in half since 1990. Amazing stuff. Least violent period of time in the last 5,000 years. Fact. 6 million less babies die a year now than they did just 25 years ago. Fact. The truth of it, you're living longer than you could ever live. Fact. So you live longer, safer, less war, less poverty. This is the golden age. Everybody else is trying to tell you that it's different. It's not true. It's not this. It's not that. It is true. You're living in the beginning of the shift, the beginning of the golden age. This is all happening to us and happening now. You picked a wonderful time to be alive. A wonderful time. And the best part is you got a ticket to the dance. So here's the crazy thing. It's 400 trillion to 1. The chance of you being alive right now, 400 trillion to 1. 20 million to 1 to become president of the United States. 175 million to 1 to win the super lottery. You won the big dance. You're here. You're alive. You're part of this shift. You're part of everything. This is the best news ever. This is the good news. Okay? And that's going to be the backdrop of my talk. So do yourself a favor, because don't become brainwashed. They want you to believe that this is the worst time ever to live. They want you to believe that there's more violence than ever. They want you to believe that less people care than ever before. They want you to believe that there's more disease than ever before. They want you to believe that there's more gun deaths than ever before. They want you to believe that there's more war than ever before. And nothing could be further from the truth. Okay? Nothing could be further from the truth. So let's keep some of this stuff on our refrigerator or on our dressing mirror or on whatever we want. Let's keep some of these truths going. Let's keep some of this going. Let's be a part. There. And here's why. It's real simple stuff. Bad news sells newspapers. The more newspapers I sell, the more I can charge my advertisers. It's a business cycle, and that's all it is. And our reptilian brain wants to survive, so we want to hear about the rapist, where the axe murderer is, where the mudslide is on the PCH, where the traffic jam is on the 5, where the gun shooter is over here, how many banks got robbed yesterday, what white collar criminals stole our money. We want to hear all this stuff, and I'm going to tell you to not listen to it, but to listen to it as a whole and all of the facts surrounding it. Listen to the facts. And the facts are, you're living in the safest time ever. You have the best chance of living the longest life ever. Like, this is it. And we're living in a great country, despite the guy that's running it, or without opinion over who's running it. You're living in the greatest country in the world. We have the best chance to make a difference in the world. This is it. And you have a ticket to the dance. And you're alive today and you're breathing. Well, what else? This is it. So let's talk about making money. Now, most of my talks are not about making money. Most of my talks are about how making money affected my life and about becoming whole and happy, which are more important than making money. But a lot of people still want to talk about making money, and especially people in the conscious community, because of the misconception that's out there. So I'm going to tell you a story. So my first business was a satellite dish business, and it was a nightmare, and I was terrible at it. And I borrowed all kinds of money from people that I knew. Well, my family had no money. So I borrowed money, and I started a business. And 6 months later, I went out of business, and it was the worst time of my life. Before I go any further here, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. If you have somebody in the financial business or in the conscious community that's in business, please share this right now, because people can help. They can really get a benefit out of this. This is going to piss a lot of people off, but it's the truth. So I got done with that business, and I was heartbroken. This was my first chance at business. I lost all this money. I owed people money. I was shit out of luck. So I was walking around all defeated. I got a job, and I got pretty good at what I was doing. I was still a kid. I think I was 20 years old. And I walked around, and I got a job, and I became really good at this job, and I started making a lot of money. 2 years go by. I get my nerve back, and I want to start a business again. So I failed in the satellite dish business. I was in the resort time-sharing business on the managerial level, and I was doing really well. I was running projects in Australia as a kid. I was really, really super young. And so I go back to the United States, and I want to get in the land development business. And I meet with these guys who are like the land development kings. And they tell me, they said, Gerry, this business is nothing like the satellite dish business, and it's certainly nothing like the resort time-sharing business. And I get into the land development business, and I did good. And it just so happened it was just like the other two businesses. So now I'm in the land development business. I want to start building houses, and I want to get in the mortgage business. So I consult with the two biggest guys in each of these businesses. And you know what they tell me? They said, Gerry, this is nothing like the land development business, and it's certainly nothing like the satellite dish business. It is a completely different thing. So I get into those two businesses, and they're exactly the same. They're exactly the same. These businesses are the same. The things work the same. So years go by, and I do real well in those businesses. I'm a millionaire, and I made my first couple $1,000,000 in those businesses, right? And so years go by, and do well. I decide to get in the plastic surgery business. So I get these big plastic surgeons together, and they say to me, they say, Gerry, whatever you do, don't think this business is like any other business you've ever been, because this is the medical business, and we're kind of like gods in this business, and it's so different that it's not the same, and it'll never be the same. It's this crazy thing, and it's just of its own. And anyway, I get in that business. I build the largest plastic surgery business in the world, and it was exactly like every other business I've ever had. Boom. So now life changes. I have this beautiful spiritual experience. I meet this lovely woman, Brandy. We want to build this spiritual business that's unique, and this and that and this. So I get the spiritual people together, and the first thing they tell me is that, listen, whatever you think, this business is different than any other business because you're dealing with God, and it's going to be a different business, and it's going to act different. I even had an employee, a lovely woman shaman from South Africa, and I'm not going to say anything bad about her, but she was really had her own opinions that were different than everybody else's. And she said to me one day, she said, Gerry, don't mention the words customer satisfaction because that's against God. And business is against. She told me this whole thing. And here I'm in this business now a couple of years, and nothing is further from the truth. But it dawned on me finally. It dawned on me finally. And this is something you got to write down. That everything is a spiritual business. The reason that all these businesses were the same is because they're all a spiritual business. Because if I'm dealing with one human, and that human is a spirit, a ghost in a meat suit, he is God. I'm in the spiritual business. It doesn't matter if I'm in a car wash, a gas station, a bank, it's all spiritual business. Now, the misconception in the spiritual community is that because you're in this God business, that you're healing or you're cooking or you're doing something for the conscious community, that the results are going to be different. And that's where you screw yourself. It's just not true. It's absolutely not true. The same rules that apply in banking or in whatever whatever kind of business apply in your business. They apply in your business and they apply to you. So let's talk about Truth-onomics, right? About Truth-onomics. And I'm going to tell you, within the next couple of weeks, Truth-onomics is a course that I developed that has spiritual principle integrated into business, which is fine and dandy. They're one and the same. But most people automatically believe that because they're good people, that good things are going to happen to them in business. And I can tell you that's a truckload of shit. It's absolutely not true. Now, you might happen to want to be a good person in your business, and that has its own reward. It does. It's the thing that the reason I love this business is because I'm helping people, and it feels better than anything I've ever felt in my life. It's the greatest shit on earth. I'm doing it, but that's for me. I can tell you, just take a look at people who are successful. Donald Trump is a successful guy. You think about it, he pulled off the biggest thing in the world. He became president of the greatest country on earth, right? So you may have your opinions of whether you think he's good or bad, but most of you would probably think he's bad, and he got there. So don't think that being good or being bad is going to give you favoritism or make it harder for you. It's not. So you got to wipe that thing. So somebody in the spiritual community said, all you have to do is vibrate like the thing that you want, and you can sit home and it's going to walk in and throw itself on the bed for you. It's a lie. It's just simply not true. So I developed this course called Truth-onomics. And in this course, now the thing is, I can tell you, the people in the spiritual community, I want you to be happy and I want you to be good, because you can have this and be good. This is the thing. It's not a factor. This is the greatest thing. You can be a super success and a great person and helping tons of people and being a part of this thing. It's easy to do. I'm asking you to do it. It's easy to do, to do it. But let's talk about it. So in Truth-onomics, the first thing we want to find out is who we are in this moment, not who we are in our wholeness, but who we are in this moment, and then to be crystal clear about the things that we want. This Truth-onomics is anywhere from a 6-day course to the light course is about a 4-hour course. And I'm going to be doing this course for you. And I'm going to talk about a sub part of it today, not the whole thing. I'm going to talk about a sub part of Truth-onomics, because there's things I'm going to assume that you have the basics of Truth-onomics for this talk, that you know who you are, that you know exactly what you want, and now you're in business in some way. Okay? And before I say this next thing, I'm going to borrow something from Tony Robbins that has been proven to be true in my life, and I know that it's proven to be true in his, that whatever you're going to do, and you're going to embark on this mission, it's going to take longer than you thought, and it's going to be bigger than you thought. So it's going to take longer, and it's going to pay off greater. The universe rewards resilience. The universe rewards resilience. So just let's start with that as the backdrop, and let's go to the next thing. So let's say I got this basic thing down, and I know who I am, and I know what I want, and I know what business I'm going to be in, and everything that I make, I'm going to sign with my heart. This is the first thing. So if I'm in the baking business, every tray of brownies or muffins or bread or whatever I do, I sign with my heart, with love, right? That allows me the first big piece of this thing. You know what I have to do to be good? I have to be extraordinary. I have to be extraordinary. So listen, I used to have larger companies, not like 4,000 employees, but I had five-ish hundred employee companies. And when I would get down to a particular level and I would meet with someone and I'd say, okay, someone would say, hey, there's a problem in this department. And I'd go in and be myself and I'd say, well, what's going on here? And someone would say to me, hey, wait, I'm doing more than Mary's doing. And as soon as they say that, I would lose my shit, because if the best way you can describe how you're doing is you're doing more than someone else who probably ain't doing too much, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. What I'm talking about is being extraordinary. So we have two things going on. Let's say right now we have your day job, whatever your day job is, and we have your passion. Well, in that day job, if you're extraordinary, what's going to happen is you're going to wind up running that company. Just a fact of life. In this, so no task is too small. No great, dude, when I come into a company, and then the thing is that I haven't been in someone else's company in 30 some years, but boy, I used to make a difference. I would make a difference. I would shine. I would make sure that I was different than anybody, that I was better than everybody. And what I'm going to tell you is that in your own business, if you're a healer, if you're a cook, if you have a product, if you're making shirts, if you're making dresses, if you're making dolls, if you're making toys, like for kids, I don't care. If you're extraordinary, the universe is going to take notice and reward you. And you can't be extraordinary if you're faking who you are. That's a fact. I'm going to get into that one on another day. But let's talk about with extraordinary. So what do you mean by extraordinary? Extraordinary doesn't necessarily mean better. Doesn't necessarily mean better. It might mean cheaper. It might mean faster. It may mean better. Like, I always go to sports. So let's take a look at 1995 Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, $3.8 million a year. Okay. There was someone else on the Bulls roster that was making $50,000 a year. Right? And that $50,000 guy, he wasn't a bad guy. He was a professional basketball player. I think it's 28,000 people to one that gets to be that. He was good. That's the difference between good and great. It's not a direct proportion. So good doesn't get $1 and great gets 3. Good gets 50,000 and great gets 3.8 million. Right? That's the difference. So what I'm talking about is getting great. So there's all different kinds of great. So let's take a look. Sam Walton with Walmart. He didn't do it better. You don't get a better Post-it pad from Walmart than you do from the corner store, but you get it cheaper. So sometimes cheaper is better. Sometimes cheaper is better, right? But what you're doing, you've got to be extraordinary at it. So if you're shy about your product, you're not going to be extraordinary. I'm going to tell you what, this thing we're doing down here, this Getting Miracles thing, I can't shut up about it. We go to dinner, I talk to Brandy about it. I make sure that I talk to the waitress about it, because you can't hide the thing that you're being extraordinary at, right? So if you're a mom and you have a side business, and that side business is making dresses, you know what to do? Make one and sign it with your soul and give it away. And then make another one and give it away. Make another one and give it away. And make another one and give it away. And soon people will be coming to you and saying, I want to buy them. And then you start out at $10 and go to $100 and go to $500. And this is how you build a business. There's nothing rocket scientist about this. You don't have to be smart. What you have to do is you have to show up. You have to sign it with your heart, and you have to be extraordinary. And I'm going to give you my word about something, right? Because I make nothing from you, like I'm not selling you anything here, right? I can't make, it's not what I'm doing here. I'm telling you that if your friends tell you that you're crazy, that you stay with it. As long as you know that what you're doing is coming from here and you're becoming extraordinary at it. So you can take a look, let's take a look at in the music business. So Some of the pop stars don't have extraordinary voices, but they're extraordinary performers, or they're extraordinary personalities, or they're, so the thing is, don't get me wrong, there's different kinds of extraordinary, but I need you to be different. I need you, if I want you to win, which I do, I need you to be different. I need you to be better at it. I need you to be smarter at it. I need you to do it differently and sign it with your heart. And so this isn't the 1950s or 60s when you want a business and you go out and you borrow $1 million to start your business. Those days are gone. Like these millenniums that everybody laughs at. Do you know this? Do you know that they represent 23% of the world's millionaires? These people who on Facebook, they write songs about them being lazy and stupid and entitled and all this shit. That's a lie. 23% of the world's millionaires are these people. And guess what? Guess who started more businesses than any generation in the history of mankind? Those folks. Fact. It's a Forbes fact. Fact. So, and how do they do it? What are all these big companies coming from? Oh, I was in my mom's garage. This thing started in the garage next door. This thing started in the garage down the street. We started this, me and Tom, and we split the money, and these all started out of nothing. So I want to tell you what, if you're working at the bank in your day job and you're disgruntled and you see yourself as a healer, which you are, because you're all healers, no matter what you're doing. If you're cutting the grass, you're a healer. If you're cooking donuts, you're a healer. If you're making a new food, you're a healer. If you're making jewelry, you're a healer. If you're making a shirt, you're a healer. But if you're working at the bank and you're doing this and you don't have time to make one shirt, you're in the wrong bank. So I can tell you, nobody has an excuse. There's not one out of you out there who has an excuse to not be able to do better. Not one of you. Not one. Because if you have this dream, I don't care if it's writing a book, start with one word. I don't care if it's being a baker or opening a bakery, start and cook a bunch of cookies. Bake a bunch of cookies. I don't care if it's healing people, have a healing party at your house on Saturday night instead of a Tupperware party. I'll tell you what, Tupperware might be great and shit, but getting healed is a lot better. Have a healing party. Get people over and heal them. And be this thing that's dying to get out of you. And do it with your soul. Sign it with your heart. You do, and you cannot go wrong. Everything, I don't care if you're a consultant. I don't care if you're a dressmaker. I don't care what the hell you do. You do one, if your love is this, and your love has to be it, you do it and give it away. And do it and give it away. And then here's the thing. There comes a point in this equation where you have to start asking for your true value. So I meet so many healers and so many people that like do readings and energy workers and all these like super, I'm blessed to meet the coolest people. And I meet them, they always say to me, you know what, Gerry, I'm in a terrible business because I can only see so many people a day and there's only so many days in a week. There's only so many weeks in a month, and I say bullshit. I say, how much are you charging? And they say, oh, I'm charging $150 a session or $50 or whatever the hell it is. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you got to get better at it. Because if you get better at it, you can charge more. Or you're too good at it and you're charging too little. So this is the work that has to be done to figuring out where that price goes. But I'll tell you something super cool. There's motivators and business guys out there that I can get. Brandy shows me them on the internet, and they charge $300 and they'll be with you for an hour. You know what? They're a motivator. They're a business person. Tony Robbins gets 80 grand an hour for a private. 80 grand, right? So you could do 640,000 a day. Pretty good day, right? So I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter about the category. It matters about the quality, about you, about your commitment to what you're doing. And I'm going to tell you, we're talking about such different things today. Usually I'm talking about love and happiness and being together. And these things, a on their own are fantastic. Now, if you throw some money in on top of them and you get rid of some of those worries, it's even a better light. Like this is the what did the guy call it? The Quan. I love that. That was from Gerry Maguire. The Quan, right? That he got the whole thing. Well, you have a chance to get the Quan, and you're living in this time where things are great. Things are really great. So I'm going to tell you to be able to do this work and to start this little business that you've always wanted to do and to be the best at it. And the next thing you know, I'm going to tell you something. This is what's so crazy is that when I say this all the time, my friend who died 2 years ago, it was a crazy thing. I was the best man at his wedding, and he's a super, super, super cool guy. And he's just a great guy. And he's telling me a story about his grandfather. His grandfather was a peanut salesman out of a push cart. Peanut salesman out of a push cart in Dallas, Texas. And this guy was so in love with peanuts and had this spicy sauce he put on his peanuts. And he went around and he had a regular job and he sold peanuts in the morning and in the afternoon and on weekends. So this is what can happen in one lifetime. I want to show you something. That peanut salesman ended up owning and being the chairman of Pepsi Cola. He owned Lay's potato chips. His name was Ward Lay. He owned Pizza Hut. He owned Taco Bell. He owned Yum Brands. So my best friend's name was Frito Lay. It was Carter. His nickname was Frito Lay. Carter Lay was his name. And in one lifetime, from loving what you do and from being good at it, you can have that kind of traction. Now that's the kind of things when I'm talking about people and making money, and I'm talking about that it's in you. So if I have some people I really get a charge out of that I watch that are like watching our Facebook, and I'm looking at them and I see people like moms that are putting shirt things together and doing these deals. And that's the kind of a person who will get crazy for what they're doing. The next thing you know, they're on Oprah and they're buying a factory in Malaysia to make this is the kind of thing. This is how this happens. So you believe in it. You sign each thing you do with your heart, and it'll make a difference in the lives of the people you touch. And you can't get people to stop talking about you. I want to tell you something. If everybody who left Rythmia, if I said to them, now listen, this is the deal. I don't want you to tell anybody what happened here. The first thing they'd be saying is, oh my God, it changed my life. If you're doing it right, you can't get people to stop talking about it. If you're doing it right, you can't get people to stop talking about it. Brand, will you do me a favor, sweetie? Will you go write the number down that's on that and get it back to me? If you're doing it right, you can't get enough people to stop talking about it. So I'm going to give you my word on something. In the next week or two, in the next maybe 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to be doing a full Truthonomics course over Facebook, a full one. And it's going to be probably 3 hours. And that's the shortest one that I can do, but it will be full. I'm going to give that to you guys for the people that can't get down to Costa Rica to take that course when we offer it here. No picture. Oh, good, sweetie. That was good. That's easier than writing it down. Here's the number I want you to call. That's hysterical. 866-936-9446. If you want to talk to one of our operators, that's my wife behind that. If you want to talk to one of our operators that you have questions about this program or any other program we have going, I want you to call that. And thank you, Bray. Thanks. And now you're driving me nuts with it. Thank you. So please use this in your life. I don't want to hear, there's no time for complaining. Nobody cares when you're complaining. You have this great opportunity, no matter what it is, you have this great opportunity because you're alive. You beat the odds, you're here. I need you to go out and I need you to do this. You know what? Together, and then you can use the money for something really good, like changing the world and being a part of the change and doing all this stuff. But please don't think that because you're in a spiritual business, that the business rules do not apply to you. the rules of hard work, of dedication, of doing it extraordinarily well. This is all the truth, and this is the thing that I need you to do. Okay, I'm going to talk about a couple quick little things so that the first thing is, if you are someone in a spiritual business or somebody in a multi-level business or somebody in a sales business, please share this with them now. Please go to the bottom and press share. They can watch it from the beginning. The other things I want to talk about is that we want to make sure that you guys get a chance to watch this movie, and the movie is called The Reality of Truth. Go to YouTube. Michelle Rodriguez is in it from The Fast and the Furious. Deepak Chopra, Michael Bernard Beckwith. I'm in it. My wife Brandy's in it. I don't know how we got mixed up in there, but somehow we got in it. Rythmia is in it. And I want you to go, remember this, The Reality of Truth, and take a look at that movie. This week, we have new Facebook Lives starting. Something happened with my Facebook earlier today. I did the whole show, and then it stopped. It didn't tool up, so I had to redo it. So I'm doing it an hour later. Next week, I'll be at the same time. Tomorrow on Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, we have Meg Pearson, the raw food chef from Rythmia, who's going to be discussing raw food with you. You got to catch that Facebook. On Monday at 6 p.m. PST, we have my partner and the psychologist, the guy that ran, he was the director of Passages Malibu. He's a psychologist. He's a chief medical officer. He's a great dude, good friend. Going to be answering questions about ayahuasca. You want to make sure that you catch that, 6 p.m. on Monday night. And right now, I'd love to just answer some questions. If you guys have questions revolving or pertaining to the topic that we discussed today, please tell me any questions you might have. Anything. Is this the trailer on the YouTube? Is this the trailer on YouTube? The one about Michelle Rodriguez? Yeah, that's the one on YouTube. So you catch that. That's from Cheryl. Hi, Deborah. Deborah Kleps. She said she saw the movie. It's amazing. Jennifer Smith says hi. Colette Shand. Now you're driving me nuts. Whatever that is. Okay. Bless you from Lisa. Let's see. Justina Marie. So nice that you were helping other people. Hi, Justina in Pennsylvania. Let's see if we can get any questions. Okay, Jennifer Smith, 6 p.m. Monday night, Pacific time. Yeah. Emma Barrett. Hi, Emma. I know so many of these people here. Let's see. Listening in Utah. Heather. Hi, Heather. If anybody have any questions. Yeah. So Lisa says, you make a difference in people's lives no matter what business you're in. I'm going to tell you something. This is the truth of the truth. So I don't care what business you're in. If you're doing it from here, you're helping people. You're part of this shift. Here's the thing. You cannot get out of the spiritual business because you're going to be dealing with spirits. You're going to be dealing with a meat suit with a spirit in it, like me or anybody else in the world. So Deborah's looking forward to winning the free trip. I'm looking forward to you. Hey, Gwen. Let's see. Diane Ruiz. She's coming next Sunday. I'll be here next Sunday, and I'll see you. Rythmia, how much does it cost for the full week? It depends. It depends on rooms and this, but it's less than what's those companies? Hallmark, Landmark, less than Landmark. I can tell you that, and probably around $3,500 and right in there for the week, and it'll change your life. And I'm telling you, it will change your life. It'll change your life, and that's the truth. Let's see. Product not perfect. Just put it out. Okay, yeah. And what about if the product is not perfect? So let's talk about that. So let's say that I'll give you this story. So when we opened Rythmia, the first week, the clients that came the first week versus the clients that are coming now are having a completely different experience. The clients that came the first week still said they liked it, but the clients that come now are like, this thing's going to change. So I'm going to tell you, in order for you to perfect your product, Emma, you got to put it out now. And so what you do is you price accommodate. So If I'm a healer and I'm just starting out, but I have the healing thing, which by the way, all of you are healers, and you all have the ability to do one-on-one healings to different degrees. But if you're a healer and you're just starting, give them away. And as they get better, start charging for them. This is the idea of building a home business. You know the difference between a home business and a non-home business? About 200 grand. So once you start doing 200 grand a year, you move the business out of your house. You move it right out of your house. Simple stuff. Yeah, Jennifer, we have 4 medicine sessions a week. That's right. 4 medicine sessions a week. Let's see. Linda says she's going to be here in February and looking forward to it. I'd love to have you. Okay, yes. Angie, last week I talked about the Harvard study. I'm going to go, and I posted it last week. I'm going to repost it this week. It's a key component to this talk that we're having because it shows us how to be happy. That's a great study. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Please do me a favor and share this. This is a really short one for me. And it's because I did it twice. I screwed it up on the first one to do it. Wait, Lisa Cordella, I feel drawn to the idea of using ayahuasca. Is there anything you can do to improve your change? This is a great question. So let's talk about this. Ayahuasca knows you, Lisa, as soon as it enters you, and it will know everything about you. And you can get on a dieta, and the dieta is going to make it a less purgative experience, meaning you might throw up a little bit less or might not throw up at all or whatever. But the experience itself is going to happen to you because the ayahuasca is perfect. It's going to find you exactly where you're at, and it's going to do for you what it needs to do for you. So when I hear people that say they had a bad ayahuasca experience, the difference between a bad ayahuasca experience and a good ayahuasca experience is 3 days. In 3 days, they'll be saying it was the best thing that ever happened to them because of the way the medicine works. So don't worry about it. Guys, I love you. Next week, I'm going to give you a full hour and in a better way. I really appreciate your joining. Thank you so much. And I hope my Mevo works again by next week. So I thank you. God bless you. And I will answer all these questions today. God bless you and peace.